We have a liftoff.
Smash on that like button like it's nobody's business. Please leave a comment down below, just the letter A. Those two things help out more than you guys can imagine. And if you enjoy these videos, please help me out with that. It's 1 second of your time, doesn't cost you nothing, and I do appreciate it, looking in my eyes, honestly. Now, with that all being said, I had a friend, his name was Iceman. He had the plaza for the Sinaloa Cartel in El Paso. This is quite a story, because the person who betrayed him was the person he loved the most. And if there's anything you take away from this story, that's what it's going to be. Is be careful, even with the ones you love and you trust. Now, he was sitting there watching his cameras one day. I was there just about an hour before, and I'd crossed over into Juarez. And he called me, and he's like, hey, did you tell him you're here or something? I was like, no, brother, what's good? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? I mean, he tells me, well, it's because there's these two guys out front, and I don't know them. And right, a little bit after you left, they showed up. I thought maybe they're looking for you. And I was like, I don't know them. And I was like, dude, and if they're just sitting outside in front of your house, don't even open that door. That's no good, brother. I told him too. I was like, if you see two of them, there's probably more, right? And waiting around the corner or something like that. Well, the craziest thing happened. He was never expecting this, but he has a friend that's over sitting on the couch, right? They're playing Xbox. There's the cameras like over here on the right side, so you guys can kind of picture the scene. They're smoking. His wife gets up out where she was, I think it was on the second floor, comes down and opens the door. These guys texted her or something, because she knew they were there before she even got to the camera. She was already on the way down the stairs, going out. So she already knew, right? Well, she opens the door, and these dudes rush in the house. Just like, boom, in the house. First thing they do, they shoot my friend's homie that was there in the back of the head. They blew his brains out on the floor. And they lit my friend up like twice in the legs, and they're like asking him for the safe code because his wife didn't know it. And he told him to go shove it, you know what I'm saying? So they started to torture him there in his house. And I can only get into so much here, but they started to pull out fingernails, and then they took a potato peeler to the bottom of his feet. But point is, eventually, he got tired of being tortured just like anyone would, and realized they were going to kill him if he didn't do something, you know what I'm saying? So he gave them what they wanted. And remember, he's already got 2 bullet wounds, right? 1 in each leg. He's got the wounds to his feet as well, right? And then his fingernails. So dude's bleeding pretty decent. Told me he's starting to get lightheaded and stuff, and on the way out, they pumped him twice more in the chest, like on the way out, with his girl too, all right? Got him twice in the chest, and it turns out one of these guys that was there that day was this girl's stepbrother, all right, and his homies. She'd set this all up. I know this because dude got revenge, you know what I'm saying? He was in the hospital, like, it was a long time, it was weeks. And he was heartbroken on top of everything else. I think that hurt him more than the gunshots, because he was in love with this girl. He'd been with her like 8 years, man. They had like two kids, I think, and about 3. Oh, there was 2 when I met him and she was pregnant. So yeah, it is 3. Crazy. But I guess that's destiny, right? Now, he found out, I'm not going to say exactly how or what happened, but he did his thing, got his revenge and everything. But that's the kind of wound that never heals. Even if you get revenge or whatever happens, it's still a very deep wound, in your heart. Sometimes people don't ever recover from something like that. They just lose trust in people in general. I've seen that happen lots of times as well. Now, I have a friend, and this dude was in southern Arizona, actually, at this time. He pulls into like a Sonic, and dude's selling rock, right? That's what he did. Skinny white boy, he's from North Carolina. Dude was down with the business, you know what I'm saying? One time he sold me a Tech 9, I remember, and that was I think the first time I really formally met him. Someone introduced us, and we became friends. I'd talk to him every once in a while. He'd go out to California and do some type of business. Not gonna say what, and come out and visit me. You know what I'm saying? Dude was trustworthy and he was straight. He wasn't about that bullshit. Cero corrientada, pues. And he pulls into the Sonic, pulls out what he's going to do, you know, puts on the passenger seat. Dude gets in the car, I guess, beside him, and his girl sits behind my homie. Now, the thing was right there on the seat. So when dude got in the car, he picked it up and was looking at it, and then my homie was waiting for me to give him the money. Like, what are we waiting here for, you know? And at that exact moment, when after he pulled it out, he's looking at it, dude sticks it in his pocket, and out of that same pocket, he pulls out a screwdriver, like a Phillips, one of the pointy ones, and just starts sticking my homie, right? And he got him, I think it was like 15, 16 times. It was pretty decent, you know, what he did. And while he was stabbing him, it was so nuts. His girl that was behind my boy, she pulled out like a little revolver, like a 22, like a little pocket rocket, and got him right here, you know, in the back of the neck. I think she wanted to get his spine just because where she shot him, you know. Missed his spine though, and it came through here, blew out the side of his mouth, blew out his teeth. I think it took off a piece of his jaw, even something like that, but blew out his mouth, you know what I'm saying? And he told me that she gave him the round, basically point blank, she shot him. So there was gun smoke coming out of his mouth. Like after it blew out his teeth, he could see the smoke coming out. He could taste it, he told me. Taste that cordite. Now, right when this happened, you know, he opened the door and just kind of rolled out of the car and fell out on the ground. And they actually, the dude hopped in the driver's seat and took my homie's car. She got out and took their car back. Nuts, you know. And this is just for several $100s a rock. You know, don't think this is like a huge drug deal for 100 kilos or 1,000 kilos of white or something like that. This is just like a little bit of crack. And there's a lesson you want to take from this one. It's if you're in that life, get out of it, because people will do you dirty for the smallest things. You'll never imagine what they will do you dirty for. And sometimes people do big movements and they're doing their thing and they just do this little thing and that's what costs them their life. They get so complacent with what they're doing on a daily basis that they think nothing can touch them. And they're wrong, right? You shouldn't be in that life if you have that mentality. And you shouldn't be in that life anyways. Nothing good comes out of it. Prison, death, bad health, but it is what it is. Now, dude, you know, he kept selling even after this. I remember even when he sees recovering and he's selling from the hospital. It is nuts, you know. Like people would come visit him and he'd give them their whatever, you know what I'm saying? He had it with him there in the hospital. I can't remember how long he was there. It wasn't that long. It was like a week, something like that. It wasn't bad. You know, now at the hospitals, they just try to get you out of there as fast as you can. And a lot of times people want to get out of there as fast as they can because how expensive it is too, because most people don't have health insurance, especially in that life. So, absolutely nuts. I'm about to tell you guys about something that happened when I was younger, right here. Now this is a story, I don't even know if I've ever told this one before, so you guys are in for a treat. This happened in New Mexico, in a little tiny town called Las Cruces. There's lots of pecan fields out there. It's close to Juarez. It's like an hour away, you know, but it's in New Mexico. Well, I'm at a party there, and I have a cousin who's there. And, you know, we're hanging out, doing what we do. And I'd seen a lot of people that I know, because I used to go out there when I was a little kid, like growing up, like 9, 10 and stuff before. When I was 13, I was already out on the street. You gotta remember that. So I was seeing people from like my childhood that I hadn't seen in a long time. You know, that now I'm there, I was like 19, 20, something like that, before I went to Juarez. And yeah, sitting there drinking, you know what I'm saying? I think there's kegs and a couple fists and stuff like that, people smoking herb, just kicking back, man. It wasn't like an intense party with just like hundreds of people. It was more of like a kickback, right? Like 30, 40 people, and everyone knows each other on top of being a small town. A lot of people there were family and stuff like that. Well, this guy I know, his name's Raider, all right? Raider, cool dude, you know, if he's watching this, my respect to you, brother. He got possessed, basically. I don't know if it was that or something in his mind, but it looked to me that's what happened, because dude has no mental problems. I've known him since I was a little kid. Like, I know his family and everything. It's not even like that. People are like, no, you just don't know him good enough. No, I know him for years. Like, I grew up with this dude, like shooting 22s with him and stuff as a kid. Anyways, dude's sitting there, stands up and kind of walks off I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 feet, like into the darkness. Like we have a big fire, right? And the fire kind of blinds you. If you've ever been around a fire, like you can see what's around there because of the bright light. You can't see what's in the darkness, right? Well, he takes like a jug, I think it was something like kerosene or something like that, and just bathed himself in it. Could have been gasoline, I don't know, some type of liquid fuel. You know, I didn't go there and smell it afterward to check what it was. But he bathes himself in it completely, and no one's paying attention, right? Everyone's just drinking, doing their thing. And dude reaches into his pocket, pulls out a lighter, and lights himself on fire. And then screams, "I'm doing it for the Anasazi," who I guess, it's like an old tribe, right? And they weren't even into Mexico, to my knowledge, like around that area. So that's why it's even weirder, right? But I don't know if he traveled and maybe he picked something up. I have no idea what happened, but it definitely did happen. And between everyone there at the party, threw him on the ground, threw dirt on him and beer and everything. He was trying to get it out. We had no water. And it was actually the dirt that ended up, put the fire out, right? The liquids weren't really working. And someone, knew what they were doing and started grabbing a bunch of dirt. So we all followed him, and he was right. So the dirt did put it out. Dude was in the hospital a long time, guys, months. I can't remember what percent of his body was, third-degree burns, but it was brutal. And like I said, this one has no previous signs of anything like that. This is just completely out of the blue, caught everyone off guard. And yeah, watched somebody almost burn to death right there. His skin came off of his clothes. It just kind of like got stuck together. Crazy. Now, right around this same area where we're speaking on, just a little bit south. Okay, it's like 30 minutes south. It's the east. We're gonna go east of Juarez. All right. There's this town called Palomas. It's a little tiny border town. Now, in this time, I think I was like 6 or 7. Right. My dad was andaba recio, but he was doing his thing in the game, and yeah, pissing people off apparently, because they took off in a helicopter from Palomas, and they were just going close to Juarez. And in between Palomas and Juarez, somebody had to have said something, because the actual helicopter my old man was in got hit by something. Like, it had to be a rocket, you know what I'm saying? Surface to air type platform. And the military doesn't use stuff like that here. They have it, but they don't use it. So it's definitely organized crime. And there's other ways we know it was, because they tried to kill him and do some other things, after this that I might get into. But hits the helicopter, and it actually hit the tail, like the tail rotor. And my old man explained to me, like in a helicopter, I didn't know, if you hit a tail rotor, it kind of loses direction. It just spins around and ends up crashing, basically. Doesn't have any way to steer itself. Well, the tail rotor got hit, goes down, close to a ranch, like I said, outside Palomas. My old man, he had this all opened up, like his guts were hanging out, alright? His right foot was completely chopped off, except for it's hanging by like a tendon. The pilot died, right? He's sitting there, he's done. In the back seat was my dad's little brother, alright? I'm not going to say his name, just because. And he wasn't as badly hurt. I think he had like an injury here, if I remember correctly, and his head was open, but he was actually really intact. I think they were in the front, he was kind of sitting behind him. Anyways, he was the only one able to do anything and get help. And while they were crashing, while they were going down, they could see where the ranch was. Like my old man told me, it was like 3 or 4 clicks, like 3 or 4 kilometers, like 2 miles away. Well, my uncle walked that and, got an ambulance to come out there to that ranch. Came out from Juarez and took him. And this is nuts, because while the ambulance is taking him back to the hospital, they think my old man's dead. Like, he's not going to survive or anything. They start taking off his jewelry, his wedding ring, his watch. And I guess he, half woke up and he grabbed him by his wrist and told him, he's like, I'm going to come get that from you later if you take that. And my old man said he was so startled when he woke up and just grabbed him by the wrist that when he woke up, those things were there with him. They put them in his pockets. I think they put 2 and 2 together. Dude's in a helicopter that just got knocked down. He's got all his jewelry. We're outside Juarez. It wouldn't be a good idea to rob this dude, probably. It's going to probably pain with your life. And I'll say that's facts. Knowing my old man, definitely facts. So think about that, you guys. You're sitting there dying, and the people who are supposed to be helping you are more worried about stripping you of your jewelry and your valuables. Insane world, isn't it, my friends? I must say it is. You know, I had a mentor since first time I went out to the Philippines. We were in Mindanao in southern Philippines, and there was an insurgency. You know, they have the MILF, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. They have the Abu Sayyaf, which is an Al-Qaeda affiliate. They have the NPA, the New People's Army, which is communist-related type rebels. There's all types of insurgent groups, and yeah, he was out there doing his thing, security contracting. They do sometimes security for like mining companies because these extremists would go kidnap the miners and ransom them off to the companies to fund their insurgency. So it's just cheaper for these companies way cheaper and a lot less problems to hire armed security, sit out there, you know, where that their miner, where their workers are, and just watch over that these people don't come. If they do come, to give them some. Now, while this was going on and they're mining, doing what they do, dude does a patrol, all right? And while he's walking, 3 dudes come out of the bush in front of him. And they say, we know who you are, you know what I'm saying? You think you're hard with your gun, but you ain't shit. So they told him more or less, you know. And they had these thing called bolo knife. It's like a machete. It's the best way I can explain it. And they're like, you know, if you're a real man, you'll put down your weapons and fight with us. Dude just looking at him like, man, you don't know what you're asking for. Like, damn. Well, they kind of square off. The dude was talking all the shit. And dude hands his rifle over. There's 4 of them together. And these other 3 aren't armed. You know, they're armed, but with machetes, right? I don't think they were going to battle or anything. They were just walking that path he was walking it. They saw him, they're like, that's the dude who's killed our friends probably, or something, or doesn't let us kidnap and do what we want to do. Anyways, my boy Smitty just reaches back, and you can look him up. Like, these are facts. David Smith, look up gun runner, Philippines. You know, he was actually caught with a load of Indonesian assault rifles that he was going to bring into the Philippines, and the Philippine military caught him, is what it is. But he took it out, his bolo, and threw it, and he stuck dude right in the middle of the chest, just like dead center, like I think it's called the diaphragm or something, this little area like right below the rib cage. Then walks over, puts his left foot on his chest and pulls it out, so he bleeds out faster, you know. Nuts. Right, and as the 2 dudes who were with him, they kind of lost their will to fight after that. They got completely demoralized watching their leader get stuck with the flying machete. Basically, it's what it is, a machete. And it's made out of car springs. If I remember correctly, they melt down car springs and these things called jeepneys and make these knives. Crazy, but it is what it is, my friends. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. Smash on that like button if you haven't already. Well, if there's any other stories from the past you'd like to hear or anything in specific, you can always contact me at ogshadowofficialpodcast@gmail.com or down below here in the comments. I'll see it and probably do a video. 99% of the videos I do are from your guys' requests and what you guys want to see. This is your channel at the end of the day. I'm just the one hosting it, trying to entertain you guys, alright? So please smash on that like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe, notifications. All those things help out more than you know. Adiós amigos, hasta la próxima, gracias.